Okay, how to measure the angle of perspective. What you do is you measure the height of what the object you're measuring is. Okay, and then what you want to do is measure the angle to whatever you're measuring to, and you want to measure this distance. So you have the height distance, the angle, and the distance of this blue line, and then you can work out from the height to the distance of this blue line, and you'll get your angle of perspective, and I'll demonstrate that outside. Okay, how to measure the angle of perspective, how this beam looks and is travelling down. Okay, when you put this on the ground, you'll see that beam is actually angling towards the ground. You might think it's parallel to the ground. That end is actually higher than the end here. Okay, so the way we do this is we measure the height. Okay, we'll get that on the ground, touching the ground, and we measure the height, which is 204 centimeters, if you can see that. And that's basically to the bottom of that beam, 204, 2 meters and 4 centimeters. Now, that's to the base of the beam. Well, this light is actually a little bit higher than the base of this beam. Okay. Now what we want to do is measure the angle of the beam. Put it on that side of the beam, and you can actually see the arrow. See the arrow? Well, that's pointing that direction. The actual drain is up that end, so it's actually higher up this end than it is up that end by 0.2, 0.3 of a degree. So it actually runs downhill that way. Now what we want to do is measure the angle is roughly 14, 15 degrees. Roughly 14 and a bit, 15 degrees will go. Okay, so we've got 15 degrees. Now what we want to do is measure this string line. On that string line there is a black dot. Okay, I have a black mark on that string line. We want to measure the length of this string line. Okay, we have the tape measure. Okay, there's my black mark. Stretch it as much as we can without it coming off the thing on the end, which is 7750. 7750. We had 15 degrees, and it was 2040 was the height, the length and the degrees. Okay, now we'll go inside and we'll draw up those parameters, and this will show you the angle of perspective. Okay, now I want to draw the angle of perspective. What we have, okay, so you can see that it's all correctly measured. 90 degrees. Okay, 15 degrees. Okay, there's your 90 degree mark, there's your 15 degree mark. Now we want to measure, first of all I've scaled it down. Okay, 7750 divided by 4 is 1937, and 2040 divided by 4 is 510. Okay, so what we've got here is $5.10. $19.37. Okay, so this is on the 15 degree mark. Let's get this correct. Okay. I've gone 1940, a little bit higher. It's actually 19.37, but that's 19.4. Okay, now if we draw a line from our 510 mark to our 19.4 mark and draw a line straight through there, you will see your angle of perspective. Okay, now if we measure get that straight over the top of it, so you can see that's on that point mark. You see how it's lost 2 millimeters? That's because that is the angle of perspective. And the further you go from something, the angle changes and the angle of perspective changes. Same with the higher something goes, the angle of perspective changes. And it's measurable. It's just proven that it's measurable. Thanks for watching.